Hi, my name is Marie Englesson. I'm the author of a book about fraud and corruption, and especially how businesses and organizations of all sizes can resist and prevent these risks. Basically all my career in emerging markets. After graduating from Stockholm School of Economics, I joined a company called Millicom, which sent me down to Africa, sent me over to Asia, Latin America, to work in their different operations. After that, I decided to set up my own business in Tanzania. I had not anticipated that fraud and corruption would be a problem for me. I had never thought I would pay a bribe or my employees would set up a fraud scheme in my business. So I wasn't at all prepared for it, and when it happened, it was almost like an ambush and I didn't know how to deal with it. Once you have stepped down that ladder or steps, it's really hard to reverse it. It just makes it much, much harder. So if I would have dealt with it up front, I wouldn't have had to then spend years trying to clean up these things in my company. I realized as I was exploring it a bit more that I was far from being the only one. What inspired me to write this book was to share some of those experiences and really kind of show how is the everyday life for a small business owner or a small business manager in an emerging market, like this kind of endless day-to-day fraud and corruption that you meet. How can you manage that? How can you make sure that it won't bring your business down? With this book, I also want to emphasize the importance for small businesses, startups, to start incorporating a strategy for how to deal with fraud and corruption early on, like basically from the start. It needs to be part of your business strategy, of your business model. How are you going to deal with these issues? Because they will come. You will hear or read a lot of different stories from mainly smaller businesses, family businesses, but also some subsidiaries of larger companies. I have, for instance, one story about a subsidiary of an international company that was just setting up in Tanzania. And it was quite a young and unexperienced management team. They appointed a custom agent to clear their goods in customs. And they kept that custom agent for some years and everything seemed to be fine. What was actually happening was that this custom agent had colluded both with the custom authorities and with the bank. So the money that the company thought that they were paying for customs actually went straight into the pockets of government officials, their agent, and the bank officials who had all colluded to set up this scheme. I hope this book will help SMEs and startups and family businesses working in emerging markets to better deal with fraud and corruption, basically to share my own mistakes so that they don't have to do them. I also think it will be very useful for investors and maybe international companies who are looking at going into these markets to get a better understanding of what things are like on the ground. You will enjoy this book if you are a manager or an entrepreneur and looking to build or scale up a company in an emerging market where you know that corruption and fraud are big risks. I also think it's useful for any investor or any manager working for an international company that is now looking at entering these emerging markets. I think it's also an interesting book for anyone interested in the human mind and economic crime and how that works. My name is Marie Englesson. I'm the author of a book about fraud and corruption and how companies and organizations of all sizes can better resist and prevent corruption and fraud.